Almost no one imagines that a substance this humble, a single dietary mineral, could be quietly driving so many of the little complaints they live with day after day. The exhaustion that flattens you well before the clock reaches midday. The cramp that grips a calf and drags you out of a deep sleep. The mental haze that turns plain, ordinary thinking into a struggle. We like to blame all of it on the calendar, on simply aging. In plenty of cases, though, these signals point somewhere else entirely. They hint that your magnesium stores are running dry. Of every mineral we depend on, magnesium is among the most vital, and at the same time, among the most consistently forgotten. I'm John, and over the next little while, I'll take you through 16 foods, most of them drawn directly from the world of Scripture, that come absolutely brimming with magnesium. These are the very foods that families were setting out on their tables across countless generations. The identical seeds, greens, and pulses that ancient people relied on for vigor and endurance are precisely what today's nutrition researchers keep rediscovering thousands of years later. Hang on right to the finish, because number 16 tends to astonish nearly everyone. One standard reminder before we begin: treat none of this as professional medical or dietary counsel. It replaces neither medication nor any therapy a licensed clinician has put you on. Whenever you plan to change what you eat, the supplements you take, or any part of your health habits, run it past a qualified health professional beforehand. Number 1. Walnuts. The history of the walnut stretches back an astonishing distance. Grown and swapped along trade routes that reached from Persia clear across the Mediterranean, walnuts were thoroughly familiar to the communities of biblical times. The Song of Solomon even references descending into a garden of nuts, and regional writings of that era regarded them as something precious, a treasure, a present, an emblem of abundance and good fortune. Pick one up, and you can hardly ignore how closely the kernel echoes the shape of a human brain. A pair of rounded lobes, a crinkled surface wrapped inside a rigid shell. That resemblance, it turns out, is oddly appropriate. When it comes to feeding the brain, walnuts genuinely sit near the top of the list. Set aside a single ounce, somewhere around a dozen to 14 halves, and you take in close to 45 milligrams of magnesium, plus a respectable helping of plant-sourced omega-3 fats. What's striking is that no other nut supplies a meaningful quantity of those omega-3s, and they earn their keep by helping to dial down inflammation across the whole system. Investigations point to the antioxidants and inflammation-soothing molecules in walnuts possibly guarding brain cells against damage, and perhaps even softening the sort of cognitive slide that tends to arrive with age, the fading memory, the slower mental gears. The heart benefits are every bit as convincing. Several clinical trials have shown that folding even a small daily portion of walnuts into your eating can nudge LDL cholesterol, the damaging sort, downward, while also trimming triglycerides, one more blood fat wrapped up in heart disease. Regulators at the FDA have even signed off on a qualified health claim printed on walnut labels, tying them to reduced heart disease risk. And that's an approval they hand out sparingly. Magnesium itself contributes here in a very hands-on way, steadying the rhythm of the heartbeat, coaxing blood vessels to relax, and helping keep blood pressure where it belongs. Drawing enough of it straight from your plate is one of the more unassuming ways to defend your heart across the years. Just one caveat. Because walnuts are calorie-heavy, a modest handful, not a bagful, is the sensible serving. Obviously, anyone allergic to tree nuts has to skip them. Walnuts also carry a middling load of oxalates. So if calcium oxalate kidney stones are somewhere in your medical past, it's worth asking a doctor what portion fits you. For almost everyone else, a small serving a handful of times weekly is about as painless a dietary win as you'll find. Simplest approach of all: park a little bag on your kitchen counter. Drop them into your morning porridge. Throw a pinch across a lunchtime salad. No prep, no cooking required, and stored well they'll keep for weeks. Hardly any healthy swap is this straightforward. Number 2. Figs. Of all the fruits that surface again and again across Scripture, few appear as relentlessly as the fig. Genesis introduces the fig tree in its opening chapters. Deuteronomy sketches the promised land as territory of wheat and barley, of grapevines, fig trees, and pomegranates. Under Solomon, contentment was imagined as every person seated beneath his own vine and his own fig tree. Along the road toward Jerusalem, Jesus met a fig tree. Just how thoroughly this fruit threaded through the ordinary days of biblical people is difficult to overstate. And as it happens, their diet was doing them plenty of good. A fresh fig contributes a light dose of the mineral, roughly 17 milligrams in a medium one, yet the dried version packs a far denser punch. Dry half a cup of them, and you're looking at nearly 50 milligrams of magnesium bundled with a healthy share of potassium, calcium, fiber. For older adults especially, what stands out about figs is their effect on the gut. They deliver fiber of both kinds, soluble and insoluble, which keeps the digestive tract in motion, feeds the friendly microbes down in the colon, and can soothe the sort of persistent constipation that a lot of older people manage silently but often. Ancient traditional medicine leaned on them as a natural digestive aid, a role reaching back to the earliest civilizations. The potassium they carry partners with magnesium to keep blood pressure in check. Together, the two minerals encourage vessels to remain pliable and loose rather than clenched and stiff. And although a fig's natural sugars are real, they come wrapped in fiber that breaks their absorption, making them easier on blood sugar than most sweet snacks. One point deserves attention if you're tracking blood sugar carefully or on diabetes medication. Dried figs concentrate far more natural sugar than fresh, so serving size genuinely matters. A little handful does the job. Even so, for the majority of people, figs are a gloriously old-world food that gives back far more than nearly any contemporary snack. Late summer into early fall is when fresh figs shine. Dried ones line most grocery shelves the year round and hold up well at room temperature. Enjoy them straight, laid over yogurt or beside a small wedge of cheese for a snack that's both easy and truly nourishing. The ancients clearly grasped what they were up to when they wove entire visions of peace and plenty around the fig tree. Number 3. Pumpkin seeds. You won't find pumpkin seeds named directly in Scripture, though gourds and pumpkins do crop up in old texts. And seeds of every description have anchored human eating for millennia right across the biblical lands. The more important question, though, is what these small kernels actually do once they're inside you. And the reply is impressive. Gram for gram, pumpkin seeds stand among the most magnesium-loaded foods you'll find anywhere on Earth. 1 modest ounce, barely a small palmful, carries between about 150 and 168 milligrams of the mineral. That's nearly 2/5 of what a typical adult needs across a full day, packed into a single tiny snack. Nothing else in this lineup crams more magnesium into each bite. Alongside it ride iron, zinc, manganese, phosphorus, and beneficial fats. Zinc in particular is something plenty of older adults quietly fall short on, and it's central to immune strength, the healing of wounds, and holding on to taste and smell. Where pumpkin seed magnesium really earns its value is muscle performance. Ever been yanked awake by a leg cramp? That sudden, agonizing knot that seems to strike from nowhere? Low magnesium may well have played a part. It's magnesium that lets a muscle unclench and settle after it has fired. Run short of it, and muscles can stay bunched up or lock without any advance notice. These seeds also chip in plant protein, plus compounds researchers have been examining for a possible hand in prostate health for men and bladder health for men and women alike, though that science is still maturing. Slotting them into your day couldn't be easier. Dust them over porridge at breakfast, scatter them across a salad, or simply keep a small pouch within reach for snacking. Roasted works fine, but unsalted is the wiser choice when you're minding your sodium. Whichever way, this ranks among the simplest yet most potent dietary upgrades you can make while altering almost nothing. Number 4. Almonds. Scripture names the almond more than once. When Jacob dispatches his sons to Egypt in Genesis, almonds are tucked among the choicest offerings the land can send. Exodus describes the tabernacle's lampstand as crafted in the likeness of almond blossoms. Because the almond tree flowers ahead of every other tree in the region, it read as a herald, a sign of something approaching, something rousing from sleep, and the people of that day held it in special regard. An ounce of almonds, roughly 23 of them, brings you somewhere near 76 to 80 milligrams of magnesium. Expressed differently, that's close to a fifth of the recommended daily intake from one small handful. They also hand over vitamin E, a formidable antioxidant that defends cells from harm. Banding together with heart-friendly monounsaturated fats and a decent measure of protein and fiber to hold hunger off between meals. On the blood sugar front, almonds boast a strong record. Their mix of protein, fat, and fiber drags out digestion and blunts the sharp sugar spikes that can trail a meal. So for anyone edging toward prediabetes or simply hoping to hold their levels level as the years add up, working a handful of almonds into a meal or snacking on them can genuinely change how the body copes with food all day long. Calcium rides along in almonds too, and it teams with magnesium to preserve bone density. Since bones naturally surrender some density with age, steadily taking in both minerals through food is among the most level-headed ways to look after your skeleton over the long run. Worth noting, almonds run high in a naturally present compound, oxalate, which in hefty amounts can encourage kidney stones in people already inclined toward them. At normal servings, this troubles most people not at all, but if calcium oxalate stones sit in your history, ask your doctor what amount suits you. Everyone else can treat a small handful of almonds on most days as one of the most trustworthy, no-nonsense habits going for overall health. Number 5. Avocados. The avocado is no native of the Middle East and never appears in the Bible, yet it belongs here for the nutrition it delivers, and because it slides so effortlessly into the whole food style of eating the biblical tradition embodies. Plain, unprocessed, pulled straight from the soil. One entire avocado holds in the neighborhood of 58 milligrams of magnesium, along with a generous pour of potassium, more in fact than you'd get from a banana. Plus those monounsaturated fats, the heart, genuinely welcomes. They're the same fats found in olive oil, among the most honored foods in all of Scripture. What makes the avocado remarkable is how many nutritional bases it covers simultaneously. Its healthy fat helps your system pull in the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K from the foods eaten beside it. So folding avocado into a salad isn't merely a flavor upgrade. It literally lets you extract more goodness from the leaves and vegetables in the bowl. The fiber load is considerable as well. Because most of an avocado's carbohydrate is fiber rather than sugar, it barely stirs blood sugar. Good news for anyone watching the numbers. That same fiber nourishes helpful gut bacteria and keeps digestion ticking along. Avocados pair magnesium with potassium, a duo that's especially kind to blood pressure. Both minerals prompt vessels to loosen and work as they should. Research links diets reliably rich in this pair to lower rates of hypertension, one of the most common, most dangerous conditions facing older adults. Avocados brim with B vitamins too, folate and B6 among them, which underpin a healthy nervous system and help keep mood on an even keel. Half an avocado daily is a thoroughly reasonable, worthwhile amount for most people. If you're on a blood thinner, warfarin in particular, it pays to consult your doctor, since the vitamin K in avocados can sway how that drug performs. Number 6. Bananas. Here's another food Scripture never names outright, and yet bananas have been farmed and eaten throughout the ancient tropics for thousands of years. And today, they rank among the planet's most eaten fruits. That popularity isn't accidental. A medium banana supplies about 32 milligrams of magnesium, plus its celebrated potassium reserve, somewhere near 422 milligrams per fruit. Pairing those two minerals makes bananas particularly good for heart and muscle alike. Both act as electrolytes, meaning they help steer the electrical impulses that sets the pace of your heartbeat and orchestrate how muscles tighten and let go. Bananas are also unusually easy to eat for anyone whose appetite has dwindled or who battles to take in enough calories in a day. They're soft, kind to the stomach, need zero prep, cost next to nothing, and turn up in their own built-in wrapper. For older adults facing a shrunken appetite or dental troubles that make chewing hard, few nourishing foods are as within reach. A banana's natural sugars, fructose, glucose, sucrose, are tempered by a fair amount of fiber. So what you get is a steady lift rather than a spike then slump. Green, underripe bananas hold an especially useful fiber called resistant starch, which feeds the good bugs in your gut and may assist with keeping blood sugar in line. As ripening turns that resistant starch into sugar, the fruit grows gentler to digest but leans a bit harder on blood sugar. So, those with diabetes or anyone steering blood sugar with real care are usually better served by slightly greener bananas, still yellow, not heavily freckled. Bananas carry vitamin B6 as well, which backs brain function and the making of serotonin and dopamine, two chemicals that loom large over mood and emotional balance. Ounce for ounce and cent for cent, bananas are one of the finest nutritional deals in the whole store. And then number 7, lentils. Within the Bible, hardly any food shoulders the dramatic heft that lentils carry. In Genesis, Esau staggers in from the field utterly wrung out and signs away his birthright, his entire inheritance, for a bowl of the red lentil stew his brother Jacob has bubbling on the fire. This is no act of foolishness. It's the choice of a man scraped completely empty, a man who senses in that plain bowl exactly what his body is demanding. 2 Samuel recounts how one of the fighters David feared most planted himself alone in a lentil field and held it against an entire enemy force, a field worth guarding, a harvest worth shielding. Grasp what lentils actually pack, and the tale begins to add up. Cook a cup, and you unlock roughly 71 milligrams of magnesium, 18 grams of protein, and a jaw-dropping 15 to 16 grams of fiber. As complete plant foods go, they're near the very top. They also lend iron, folate, and potassium, nutrients that pull together to bolster blood production, cardiovascular wellness, and energy right at the cellular level. That fiber is a special boon for blood sugar steadiness. By slowing carbohydrate digestion sharply, it heads off the abrupt sugar surges that, over time, lay the groundwork for insulin resistance. Across large dietary studies, regular legume eaters like lentil fans show reliably lower rates of type 2 diabetes. The same fiber nourishes the beneficial gut bacteria too, with ripples that spread out into immunity and even mood. Lentils are gentle on the wallet, skip the soaking other legumes demand, and cook comparatively fast. Stir them through soups, work them into stews, or let them simmer down with a touch of garlic and olive oil into something plain and deeply satisfying. Esau knew his body was crying out for something real. Every so often, the most remarkable meal shows up in the plainest of pots. If blood thinners or kidney disease are part of your picture, check portions with your doctor, since the high potassium in lentils warrants watching where the kidneys are concerned. Number 8. Chickpeas. Among humanity's oldest farmed foods, chickpeas rank near the front. Archaeologists have turned them up at Middle Eastern sites older than 9,000 years, and they surface by name in biblical writings among the foods of ancient Israel. Right beside lentils and beans, they're logged as a staple of the era's diet. Half a cup, cooked, gives you about 35 to 40 milligrams of magnesium, together with a sturdy mix of plant protein, fiber, iron, and folate. They're a headline ingredient in hummus, a dish made and enjoyed across the Middle East for hundreds of years, which is really just chickpeas blitzed with sesame paste, lemon, and olive oil, 3 more ingredients with genuine nutritional worth of their own. What chickpeas excel at is keeping you satisfied. See, their protein-fiber combination slows digestion and prolongs that full feeling after eating, a help to anyone watching their weight or trying to sidestep the nagging hunger that steers people toward junk. Studies show habitual chickpea eaters tend to consume fewer total calories without any sense of going without. That fiber lends a hand with cholesterol as well. Soluble fiber grabs onto cholesterol inside the digestive tract and helps usher it out before absorption can happen, which over time can pull LDL down in a meaningful way. The folate in chickpeas is good for the heart, helping to keep in check a compound called homocysteine, whose elevated levels have been tied to greater cardiovascular danger, a point especially pertinent for older adults. Should chickpeas leave you bloated or uneasy, start small and build up bit by bit, or reach for well-rinsed canned ones, and your gut can adapt in comfort. Number 9. Beans. Beans thread all through Scripture as an everyday essential. 2 Samuel lists beans among the supplies hauled to King David and his people in a stretch of hardship. The prophet Ezekiel receives instructions to bake a loaf holding beans together with other grains and legumes, a dense, sustaining bread made to see you through. Well, in the biblical world, beans were never the fallback of the desperate. They were bedrock. Beans come in countless varieties, and each brings its own value. For magnesium, black beans are the standouts. A whole cup, cooked hands over roughly 120 milligrams of the mineral, anywhere from a quarter to a third of most adults' daily target in one helping. Navy, white, and kidney beans all pull their weight as strong sources too. Magnesium aside, beans are about as complete as plant foods get. They furnish protein, fiber, iron, potassium, and a lineup of B vitamins that drive energy production and support the nerves. Their fiber is particularly noteworthy, both the soluble kind that helps drop cholesterol and the insoluble kind that keeps things moving and tends to the colon's long-term health. Where the heart is concerned, the case for eating beans regularly is strong. Big population studies keep finding that people who eat beans several times weekly carry lower heart disease rates, healthier cholesterol readings, and steadier blood pressure than those who rarely bother. This is evidence built up over decades and across millions of lives. Not a fad, but a durable pattern. Beans are filling, cheap, and endlessly flexible besides. They fit soups, stews, salads, and just about any main course. Canned versions are perfectly wholesome, provided you rinse them to knock back the sodium. With kidney disease, discuss serving sizes with your doctor, because beans, high potassium, needs monitoring when kidney function drops. Number 10. Spinach. Spinach never gets a direct mention in the Bible, though dark leafy greens were unquestionably part of ancient life, and herbs and green plants come up across both the Old and New Testaments. In our own era, spinach has built one of the most richly earned nutritional reputations of any vegetable going. Half a cup of the cooked green, a surprisingly small heap, given how drastically spinach collapses in the pan, holds about 78 milligrams of magnesium. For something that barely occupies any plate space once wilted, that's a huge return. Raw spinach offers less. Cooking concentrates the lot and makes the magnesium easier for the body to tap. Spinach is loaded with iron as well, crucial for shuttling oxygen through the bloodstream. And with vitamin K, which figures in clotting and bone strength. Inside it sit lutein and zeaxanthin, a pair examined for their role in defending the eyes against age-related macular degeneration, a leading source of vision loss later in life. Its vitamin A props up immunity and healthy skin. Anyone prone to kidney stones, the calcium oxalate variety specifically, should treat spinach with a little care. Since its oxalate content sits high, physicians routinely advise anyone with a stone history to scale back on oxalate-heavy foods. The average person, on the other hand, can regard spinach as thoroughly safe and hugely worthwhile. Cooking cuts its oxalate roughly in half, and pairing it with calcium-rich foods can shrink how much oxalate you absorb still further. Those on a blood thinner, such as warfarin, should also remember that spinach runs high in vitamin K, which can meddle with how the drug behaves. Generally, the trick is consistency, keeping your spinach intake steady rather than lurching it up and down. For everyone else, few dietary additions are as easy or as rewarding. Number 11. Swiss Chard. Swiss chard shares a family with beets, and dark leafy greens of its type were eaten all over the ancient Mediterranean. It can't claim the celebrated scriptural cameos of figs or almonds, yet it belongs in this discussion on the sheer strength of what it offers. A cooked half cup holds roughly 75 milligrams of magnesium, all but neck and neck with spinach, alongside a remarkable spread of vitamins and minerals. Among plants, it's one of the richest vitamin K sources there is, and it hands over a hearty measure of vitamins A and C. It also packs an assortment of antioxidants, Betalains included the pigments that paint rainbow chard's stalks in vivid reds, yellows, and oranges, and those pigment compounds have been studied for anti-inflammatory effects. Chard is a meaningful potassium source as well, and that mineral married to its magnesium makes it a real friend to the heart. Potassium offsets sodium's blood pressure lifting push, and since so many people eating the standard modern diet get far too much sodium against far too little potassium, a combination that grinds away at the cardiovascular system over time, that matters. A practical bonus: chard cooks quicker and more easily than a lot of greens. The leaves wilt in moments in a pan with a little olive oil and garlic, and their flavor sits a shade gentler than spinach, which suits anyone turned off by assertive greens. The stalks want a touch more cooking time and can be handled as a vegetable in their own right. The oxalate caution that attends spinach applies equally to chard. It's high in them. So a calcium oxalate stone history calls for portion awareness. And, as with spinach, blood thinner users should keep intake even and loop in their doctor. Still, for most people, chard is a deeply nourishing green well worth a standing spot on the table. Number 12. Tofu. Tofu is pressed from soybeans, and while the soybean itself claims no roots in the biblical world, it has been cultivated across Asia for thousands of years and now serves as a globally significant plant protein source. Its spot in this conversation is owed to nutrition, not geography, and what it delivers is well worth understanding. A 3.5-ounce portion of firm tofu carries around 35 milligrams of magnesium, plus 8 to 10 grams of protein, along with notable amounts of calcium, iron, manganese, and selenium. For people steering clear of meat or scaling back animal protein for health, tofu ranks among the handiest, most nourishing stand-ins around. It holds every essential amino acid the body can't build for itself, which earns it the label of complete protein, a rarity in the plant kingdom. Its soft texture also makes it workable for anyone who finds tougher foods hard to chew. Since it drinks in whatever flavors it's cooked with, tofu bends to an enormous variety of methods: pan-fried, baked, dropped into soups, or whirled into smoothies for a protein lift that leaves the taste untouched. On the bone health side, tofu set with calcium sulfate, you'll spot it on the label, is a notably good calcium source, in some cases going toe-to-toe with dairy. Calcium and magnesium jointly shore up bone density, and for anyone who has stepped away from dairy, calcium-set tofu can help plug the shortfall. A handful of things are worth bearing in mind. Tofu springs from soy, one of the more frequent food allergens, so a soy allergy plainly rules it out. It sits moderately high in oxalates as well, so people with a calcium oxalate stone history should ease off large helpings and talk to their doctor. Some folks raise the soy and hormones question, specifically its phytoestrogens. The research as it stands today points to soy eaten in moderation, tofu very much included, posing no trouble at the overwhelming majority of adults. Even so, anyone uneasy about it, and especially those with hormone-sensitive conditions in the mix, would do well to raise the subject with their doctor. Number 13. Oats. Oats, or the ancient cousins among cultivated grains, have sustained people for thousands of years. Grains rank among the most pivotal foods in all of Scripture, the backbone of daily bread, the first fruits laid down at harvest, and the fuel that carried entire nations through long treks and hard seasons. Oats specifically show up in grain lists from the biblical era and were woven into daily life across the ancient Near East. A cooked cup of oatmeal serves up somewhere around 55 to 60 milligrams of magnesium, together with a soluble fiber called beta-glucan that has grown into one of nutrition science's most exhaustively studied compounds. In fact, the FDA has cleared a health claim spelling out that oat beta-glucan may lower heart disease risk, a statement that requires heavyweight scientific support before anyone can make it. Here's beta-glucan's trick. In the digestive tract, it sets into a thick gel-like mass that slows how fast both cholesterol and sugar get absorbed. Study after study has shown that eating oats regularly can, over time, bring down LDL cholesterol, the variety most bound up with heart disease risk. For older adults grappling with high cholesterol, that's no trivial payoff. Oats also count among the kindest foods there are to the digestive system. Soft, easy to swallow, easy to break down. They make a dependable, comforting pick for a touchy stomach or a faded appetite. One rule to hold on to at the store: the more processed the oat, the less it gives back. Those flavored instant packets frequently smuggle in added sugar and shed part of their nutrition in the manufacturing. Steel-cut or rolled oats cling to more fiber, more magnesium, and more of that slow, even energy release that makes them so worthwhile. A bowl of plain oats crowned with a few nuts and some fresh fruit is about as nutritionally complete as breakfast gets. And it barely asks anything of you. Number 14. Sesame seeds. Sesame counts among the oldest plants humankind has ever cultivated, and it appears in ancient records right across the biblical world. Pressed sesame oil saw wide use throughout the ancient Near East, in cooking, in lamps, and in medicine. The seeds themselves were eaten, milled into paste, and folded into dishes in ways instantly recognizable to anyone at home with today's Middle Eastern kitchen. Into a very small package, sesame seeds squeeze a genuinely impressive quantity of magnesium. A quarter cup runs to about 126 milligrams of it. As tahini, nothing more than ground sesame, the very paste behind hummus. 2 tablespoons carry roughly 28 milligrams of magnesium, plus healthy fats, and a worthwhile dose of calcium. Among plant foods, sesame is one of the best calcium sources you can reach for, which is a real plus for anyone off dairy. As noted earlier, calcium and magnesium collaborate to keep bones strong, and sesame supplies the pair in a compact, usable form. The seeds also hold lignans, sesamin and sesamolin specifically, which have drawn study for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory qualities. Some findings suggest these compounds might aid liver health and exert a gentle downward pull on blood pressure, though solid conclusions await more human research. Adding sesame to food takes no real effort. Shower it over a salad, fold it into yogurt, mix it through bread or a stir-fry, or simply keep tahini in the fridge to spread on whole grain bread or serve as a dip. A small quantity travels a long nutritional distance, and though sesame allergy is rarer than some, it's real and in certain people can turn severe. Worth knowing, particularly if unexpected food reactions dot your past. Number 15. Cashews. Cashews trace their origins to South America and had no place in the biblical world, yet they've grown into one of the most widely eaten nuts on the planet, and their magnesium alone books them a seat here. An ounce, roughly 18 cashews, delivers somewhere around 72 to 83 milligrams of magnesium, placing them among the more magnesium-rich nuts you can pick. They are also a good supplier of copper, which helps the body generate energy and keeps connective tissue and blood vessels healthy, plus immune-supporting zinc and beneficial unsaturated fats. What's nutritionally intriguing about cashews is the way their blend of magnesium, copper, and healthy fats backs the nervous system. Magnesium helps govern nervous system activity and takes part in producing serotonin, a brain chemical heavily involved in keeping mood steady. Some research has spotted a link between low magnesium and higher rates of anxiety and depression. And while a bowl of cashews is by no means a cure for either, drawing enough magnesium from food is a sound piece of tending to mental well-being overall. Older adults wrestling with joint aches or swelling may notice that a cashew's monounsaturated fats, paired with its inflammation-calming compounds, offer modest support as one thread of a wider anti-inflammatory eating pattern. Compared with almonds, cashews carry distinctly less fiber but more carbohydrate, which nudges them toward the more indulgent end of the tree nut spectrum. That makes portion control count. A small handful, not a brimming bowl, is the mark. Tree nut allergy sufferers should avoid them, and like a good many nuts, cashews are moderately high in oxalates, relevant to anyone with a history of certain kidney stones. Even so, for most people, a small serving makes a satisfying, magnesium-rich snack that does the body real good. Number 16. Dark chocolate. And here's the one that catches people flat-footed. Oh yes, it genuinely earns a place on this list. Chocolate is born of the cacao plant, native to Central America, and certainly no part of the biblical menu. What tends to floor people, though, is that real dark chocolate, 70% cocoa and up, is one of the most magnesium-dense foods you can eat, arriving with a whole suite of other perks that serious research stands behind. An ounce of dark chocolate in the 70 to 85% cocoa range holds about 64 milligrams of magnesium. That beats most fruits and outdoes plenty of vegetables. It also brings iron, copper, manganese, and a little fiber to the table. And it's packed with antioxidants, flavonols above all, which researchers have probed at length for what they do to heart health. Those flavonols have been shown to help shield the cells lining the arteries, quiet inflammation, boost blood flow, and keep LDL cholesterol from oxidizing. Oxidation being the very step that turns cholesterol hazardous to the arteries. A number of studies have connected regularly eating small amounts of dark chocolate with modest blood pressure gains. And the findings have held together consistently enough that cardiologists give them real weight. The magnesium in dark chocolate feeds into the mood lift so many people register after a square or two. Magnesium fuels serotonin production, and chocolate on top of that triggers the release of endorphins, the brain's homegrown feel-good compounds that stir a sense of pleasure and calm. The operative word, though, is dark. Milk and white chocolate hold barely any cocoa solids, and therefore next to no magnesium or flavonols. They're mostly sugar and fat, and skip the benefits entirely. Aim for 70% cocoa as your floor, and higher if you can. The second operative word is restraint. An ounce or thereabouts, a few small squares, is the right measure. Dark chocolate is still calorie-dense, and large helpings drag along a lot of sugar and fat with the upside. For the average person, treating yourself to a little square of quality dark chocolate on most days isn't something to feel guilty over. Quietly, it's among the kinder things you can do for your body. If you're managing diabetes or minding blood sugar tightly, choose the highest cocoa percentage you can, since sugar falls as cocoa climbs. And as ever, take any concerns to your doctor. Wrap up. There they stand, 16 foods anchored in old wisdom and propped up by modern science. Foods your body wants and that most contemporary diets keep sidelining. Magnesium never lands in the headlines the way the newest supplement fad does. There's nothing exotic or intricate about it, it's just a mineral. But it's a mineral your heart relies on, your muscles rely on, your sleep relies on, your mood relies on. And it's exactly what the ancient peoples of the biblical world absorbed naturally, straight from the crops springing up around them, the seeds, nuts, and pulses that formed the spine of their everyday meals. There's no need to eat all 16 of these every single day, even writing 2 or 3 into your regular routine. A scoop of pumpkin seeds, a bowl of lentils, a handful of spinach, a square or 2 of dark chocolate can genuinely shift how you feel as time rolls on. Again, nothing in this video is offered as medical advice. If you live with existing conditions or take medication routinely, several of these foods come with considerations worth raising with your doctor. If you found this useful, hand it along to someone who could use it. And look after yourself, beginning maybe with whatever is already on your plate.